them to go to our website as well to volunteer. In some cases, we have people showing up to volunteer and don't have clients in shelters just yet because they're still trying to get from their home. So it's a very fluid situation here and lots of moving parts, but we appreciate the support of the American people, and their donations and volunteerism are a great comfort to us.
All right, thanks. David Brady is the CEO of the Red Cross in Texas. So from anywhere that you're listening to the sound of my voice here at For the People, you can go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org and make a donation, because the folks there in Texas certainly could use your support today. They've had a tough, rough 72 hours, and this landfall made it there late Friday as a Category 4 hurricane. And what's really pretty much rocked the boat there, no pun intended, is the lingering dropping of the heavy rain as a tropical storm, and that's sent devastating floods pouring into the Houston area on Sunday. So the rising waters chased thousands of people to rooftops or higher ground and overwhelmed rescuers who could not keep up with the constant calls for help. It's been nuts, to say the least. So the least we can do is pick up the phone, call the Red Cross. You can get their number online, or do it online at redcross.org and just make a donation. Could you imagine? I've never seen water that tall where you're chased to your rooftop. I just can't imagine. Heard of a reporter that was in the news truck, and she had spotted some movement in a tractor trailer. Now, you would think that if you were that high up in one of those tractors, that certainly that wouldn't happen, but it did happen. It was actually overwhelming the driver. There was a boat coming. She flagged down a boat, got the guy out of the tractor trailer just in time. The water was rising inside his cab, couldn't open the door, couldn't get out the window. He would have drowned without the heroic thoughtfulness, if you will, in responsiveness to what she had saw. So thank God for that. But there's so many stories, and you'll hear so many of them in the next weeks and months ahead, of people moving to help others. And, man, that's the American spirit. No matter what the color of the skin is or anything like that, there's folks reaching out. And there was a story that I just couldn't believe this. Well, I can believe it. On MSNBC, Greg Abbott is there, trying to get relief, trying to get help, trying to get information. And listen how this exchange went down. Greg Abbott obviously didn't blink and an iota. This all had to do with, will you actually save illegal immigrants too, or will they die? Listen to this. I'm not even kidding. MSNBC. Check this out.
What we have witnessed was a total eclipse of the facts. He's unhinged.
Okay, that's not the one. Yeah, that's another report. Do we have that one? Okay, well, we'll look for that. But anyway, take my word for it. Unreliable. Yeah, Lawrence O'Donnell, that's the voice of that, and we'll talk about his story a little bit later on, but just absolutely ridiculous. But you did have the governor. We do have him. Here it is. Okay, we got him ready. Thank you very much. Quick thinking here. Greg Abbott with the exchange on MSNBC from a reporter that tried to paint a racist picture of Greg Abbott. Unbelievable. How distasteful. I should say bad taste, and was completely in bad taste, but that's your MSNBC. Are you a big fan of MSNBC? I hope not. The lying, cheating media trying to make this into something it's not. Here we go. Here's that.
On a pathway out of the storm.
How about risk of deportation for those undocumented immigrants that could be in the way of the storm's path? Are they in the clear to go to some of these evacuation centers? Do they have to show ID?
It's my understanding from what I saw from the Border Patrol instructions yesterday that will not be an issue. What everyone is focused on right now is ensuring that we do all we can to protect life. We all have a high regard for life. We want to ensure the safety of all lives, and we're prepared to take all measures to do so.
Can you believe it? No wonder. No wonder why Donald Trump fights with the media back, rightly so, calls them the lying media, liars and cheats, because this is the way that they paint the president, and no wonder he spends the time and the preoccupation on Twitter, as much as it pains people and frustrates a lot of people that Donald Trump takes to the Twitter. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody else holds the media accountable. They like to have their slant and paint the picture, and also, yes, paint that mural the way they want it to coincide with their social agenda. And they do have an agenda. Every single media channel has one, and they have the people, they employ the people, they tell the people that if you do not stick to the script, if you don't stick to the script, you'll be fired. And you know what? That exchange with Greg Abbott in Texas, that was planted. That was planted. That was purposeful. That wasn't just spontaneous. That report, that was cleared by their producers. This is the slant that they had. Republican governor of Texas, during a crisis, decides they want to go ahead and paint him as being unsympathetic to illegal immigrants. That we're going to go ahead and lock you up. We may not even welcome you into the shelters. I mean, is that not just painfully obvious of the biased slant of the mainstream media? MSNBC should be embarrassed, and they should offer an apology to Greg Abbott and to the people of Texas, because right now the people of Texas don't deserve this. They don't need this. They don't need it at all. They have enough problems right now to worry about than doing this. Nobody's looking at color. Nobody's looking at the color of skin. People are taking their own boats, taking their own lives, risking their own lives to save other people. They don't care what color of the skin. Life is life. But Greg Abbott took the high road. He took the higher road to say this had nothing to do with it. We are here to save lives. But they wanted to make it a political thing. They wanted to make this a race thing. Notice how they use the opportunities to be able to bait the right. And you wonder why there's this antagonistic spirit in our country when they have this awful agenda to destroy or fan the flames of hatred and animosity in our country. We don't need any more of this. We got enough of that. Thank you very much. We got enough loose cannons in our country. They're capable of doing a lot of crazy things. I have a microphone, and occasionally I get passionate. This one is just, can you tell? It's fun. Am I off base on this? Please let me know at Facebook. You can find us at forthepeopleshow.com or on Facebook at For the People Show, altogether For the People Show. And weigh in with your thoughts on Texas and MSNBC. But, man, unbelievable. I mean, I'm not shocked. I can't say, I'm like, oh, my God, I cannot believe MSNBC would say such a thing. I'm not shocked. But, again, you think you might have just perhaps a little class. A little class. And Greg Abbott exemplified, he could have got upset. He could have got really angry, but he didn't. He just said, you got to pick your fights. And as the governor, he's just trying to help his people as much as he possibly can to get the word out on all platforms. Somebody might say, well, he should have known. I think he probably was ready for that curveball because it's MSNBC. I mean, he kind of knew what to expect. I mean, that's what they're called, curveballs. I got you picture or something like that. Well, anyways, the Federal Emergency Management Agency Director Brock Long said during a news conference this morning, and you probably didn't watch it, but that 50 counties, 50 in Texas, are affected by the flooding. That's a lot. And that a tremendous amount of rainfall is in the cards for southwest Louisiana. We cannot forget the folks of Louisiana This rain and floods have been blamed in at least 5 deaths so far. Residents living near Addicks and Barker reservoirs that were designed to prevent flooding in downtown Houston again were warned yesterday, that a controlled release, and that already happened from the reservoirs, would cause additional street flooding that could spill into homes. Already has. Water rising, continuing rainfall on top of this. Harris and Fort Bend counties officials advised residents to pack their cars and get out. And they're surveying it. The Army Corps of Engineers started that reservoir release this morning at 2 a.m. ahead of schedule, as a matter of fact, because water levels were increasing at a rate more of 6 inches, which is 15 centimeters per hour. So officials in Fort Bend County, Houston's southwestern suburb, if you're kind of asking yourself, where is that? Fort Bend County, southwestern suburb, late Sunday issued mandatory evacuation orders from the Brazo River levee districts. County officials were preparing for the river to reach major flooding stages late Sunday. County Judge Robert Herbert said at a news conference that National Weather Service officials were predicting that the weather could rise to 59 feet, which is 18 meters, 3 feet 90 centimeters above 2016 records, in what Herbert called an 800-year-old flood level. Herbert said that the amount of water would top the levees and carries a threat of levee failure. So if that's not enough to contend with the rain pressured on these levees that hold back that water, we could definitely see a lot more damage to a lot of these counties. But, man, the aftermath of Katrina was a heck of a thing. And though a lot of people are saying that this still does not have the price tag nor the damage, these areas haven't seen this type of flooding so fast. It rose rather fast. People, a lot of folks, they went to bed and they woke up to water coming in their houses. It happened way too fast. It surprised a lot of people. Yes, there were people that did not evacuate. Yes, there were people that didn't evacuate, but in areas that didn't call for evacuations, it became a big problem, obviously, where, you get 50 inches of rain. The National Weather Service issued another ominous forecast before the storm is gone. Some parts of Houston in the suburbs could get as much as 50 inches of rain. That would be the highest amount ever recorded in Texas. So a lot of this stuff is, they've never seen it before. So there's records beat here. And this disaster is going to be a landmark event for sure. And FEMA is going to be there for many, many years. Director Louis Ancilea said during a news conference that up to 20 inches of rain could fall in the coming days on top of more than 30 inches of rain that have already fallen in some areas. And rescuers have given top priority to life and death situations, leaving many affected families to fend for themselves. And several hospitals in Houston area were evacuated during the rising waters. So it was not clear, though, how many people were plucked from the floodwaters. Up to 1,200 people have been rescued in Galveston County alone, according to Mark Henry, the county judge. And then Houston's George R. Brown Convention Center was quickly opened as a shelter. So if you know what that is, George R. Brown Convention Center. And it was also used, as a matter of fact, as a shelter for Katrina refugees back in 2005. So that's reopened to help folks. Glynis Leho arrived there soaking wet. She said she awoke Sunday to find her downstairs flooded. She moved some belongings upstairs, then grabbed her grandchildren. We had to bust out a window, she said, to get out. Some people used inflatable beach toys, rubber rafts, and even air mattresses to get through the waters to safety. Others waited while carrying trash bags stuffed with their belongings and small animals and picnic coolers. Heck of a scene, folks. I mean, really looks apocalyptic. Just surreal. Unbelievable. Folks, make a donation. I know I am, and I hope you will too. even if it's just a little something. If everybody, I always said this whenever we raise money for anything.